Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Co-host Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
Yes.
That's a little different.
Yeah, we bumping up, not down.
Yeah.
We're bumping up.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, it's a
The
blessing.
coronavirus.
Yes, Corona. We're gonna. Marion County Health Department is doing a great job so far with that.
Yeah.
And we need to be conscious of the fact that whatever Dr. Kane tells us to do here in Marion County and Indianapolis, we need to do it
To minimize the
spread of Corona. In our churches, we want people to wash their hands as often as possible. Make sure, be careful how you greet one another. And if we can wash our hands as 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, hopefully we can prevent some of the spread of that.
And no slap your neighbor a high five.
Don't slap the neighbor a high five. When you're in church, they say turn around, hit your neighbor with a high five. No, just look at them and say amen.
Amen.
That's all you have to do.
I want to thank our other sponsors, Lee Castle and Crowley.
Yes, and we want to thank Fervent Care Christian Academy. Doing a great job out there. I've been out there, visited that school, and it's a nice school for young people to start out in. I want you to consider it.
And Owl's Modern Clothing and Shoes.
Yes, tell Al, Pastor Moore sends you out, tell him he's going to give you $100 off his next pair of shoes, okay?
All right, and please be sure to go to WHMB TV 40, check out our YouTube page, and
like us on Facebook, we're there. I want you to participate and get involved with what we're trying to do in helping Central Indiana and Indianapolis, Marion County, all over. We just want you to know we love you and be a part of us on Facebook.
And coming up next, our guest, Moja Ajabu. So stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Real people, real voices, keep it real.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by Reverend Ajabu. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having
My friend,
me.
how you doing?
Man, I'm blessed by the best.
Got your trademark on. I see you got your hat on. today.
Well, you know, I could take it off.
No,
you know?
leave it on, leave it on.
And because I got hair. You know? So it's not an issue, you understand what I'm saying? But that is my trademark.
That's your trademark,
That
man.
is my trademark.
Man, it's
you
so
know?
good to have you.
Thank you.
And we don't feel we're taking a risk having you here.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, we believe
Me
that you
neither.
have some pertinent-
I don't feel like I'm taking a risk by being with you.
That's right, and I believe you have some pertinent information. I've been watching for the last 2 years.
Okay.
You've been really fighting in the realm of economics for communities.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it's been a phenomenal watch for me. And I know it's a hard fight. Tell us what you've been going through and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, in that fight for economics, I founded an organization, Economic Freedom Fighters of Indiana. And our goal is to make the city follow the law. The law in Indianapolis is that at least 15% of the business done by the city needs to be done with people or businesses owned by people of African descent. The issue becomes is they have lumped us and identified us as a minority. When you talk about looking at us as a minority, then they lump us with Hispanics, Southern Asians, who I don't even know who that is.
LGBT community now.
Well, that's not legally. Now people will talk that noise,
Right.
but that's not legally. You know, the LGBT community is not in that ordinance.
Okay.
Now they trying to muscle in, you know, but they're not legally in there. And I don't even care if you put them in there. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that we need to have our own category. We're not a minority. We're people of African descent. And nobody has paid the price in America that we have paid. When you start talking about all the people, well, yeah, take care of all the people, but all the people, because of our history, have different solutions. Nobody in this country has been enslaved like people of African descent. So our solution is going to be different than a white woman who's also in that minority.
She's outside of that.
She's got her own category.
She has her own category.
And we need our own category.
Right.
And see, what you got is you got the slave master saying, okay, I had discriminated against my wife, so we're going to give her a different category. We're going to make sure that we do business with her, and we're going to make sure all that money come in the house. So you got the master, You got the master's wife and you got the master's daughter bringing all the money into the master, and the people who they enslave, we got a disaster. That's got to change. So when you're talking about what we're doing as economic freedom fighters in Indiana, we're saying that law has to change. Don't lump us with everybody.
And when you're talking about the 15%, because I had indicated it was a law, and then someone said, well, it's not a law, it's a goal.
It's a law. But the way that they roll it out, they say it's a goal, you know, and the way that they implement it, it's a goal. So we say that we need to push the city county council to change it to where it's take us out of the minority category, give us our own category. People of African descent got to do at least 15%. Don't make the effort a goal, make it a set aside. And if it's a set aside, then if you do not find businesses owned by people of African descent to do business with, then the money sits there till you find somebody. That means that now you are energized, you incentivized to find somebody who can do the business instead of saying, oh, we can't find anybody, so...
we'll roll these dollars over here.
No, watch this. Major contractor sign a waiver, say you tried to find some of them black folks, you looked up under a rock and you couldn't find none, so now you can get all the money. No. That's got to stop. Now, you ask, what part does the city county council play in this? Last time I looked, there are 7 people of African descent on the city county council. Out of 25, if that 7% stands as a block and says that you can't get nothing passed until you watch out for our people of African descent, Mr. Mayor, I bet it gets passed. I talked to Mayor Joe Hogsett. He said if the council will pass it, he'll sign it. I talked to Vop Osley, who is the president of the City County Council. He said that he's going to work to get it done. I talked to Monroe Gray. He said that he's willing to get the legislation crafted so that it can come before the City County Council. I'm saying that we need to put the pressure on the mayor.
And I don't have confidence in Vop Osley's commitments. In the past, he has said he's going to work on things, and he hadn't followed through. So I admire and I celebrate and I agree, and I'm with you on that, and I think he should lead in that regard. The president of the council, whoever they are, sets the agenda for the city. And if you've had a conversation with him about that, I hope, unlike what he has done in the past, when it comes to the black community, he says he's going to do something, and he doesn't always follow through.
Well, see, I would say that we do not let our past jeopardize our future.
Oh, I agree, but I think it'll be fair to say a person, their words or their actions in the past are somewhat of an indication of how they're going to perform in the future.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I'm not holding it against them.
No doubt about it. The past does reflect what the future will be, but that doesn't mean that it has to be that way.
I agree.
And I'm saying that if you, he, and me put the pressure on, not Vop, let's make his job be easy. Put the pressure on the mayor. Because you and I both know that the mayor controls the council. Even though the council is supposed to be the check and balance of the mayor controls the council. If the mayor wants it, then the council gonna give it to him. So I'm saying put the pressure on him. He said he would sign it. So Mr. Mayor, and I have sent him a certified letter with the language that takes us out of the minority category and puts us into our own category, changes the language from being a goal to being set aside. He said that he would sign it. He told me that out of his own mouth at the press conference for the 50th anniversary for Indiana Black Expo. He said, I'll do it, Reverend. Well, you know, as well as I know, that a politician, definition of a politician.
Let me say this.
No. Definition of a politician. Professional liar. So it is. You know, so we got to stop the lie. You know, definition of a preacher, purveyor of the truth. So we got to make the truth prevail. And I'm saying that if we hold him accountable, see, we ain't been on our job. We got to get on our job. If we get on our job with the people that we command in our churches, if you don't do what you said that you're supposed to do, we're not only going to call you a sinner,
Well,
we're going to rectify the sin.
Let's put a pin right there, Reverend Ajabu. We got to take a break.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back.
Real people, real voices, keep it real.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. We're joined by Reverend Ajabu, certainly not a stranger
Thank you.
to our community and being out in front on these kinds of issues. Got to ask you, because I think you can address this appropriately. A lot of times we think if you have a black chief, if you have a black mayor, if you have a black council, if you have a black president, that it automatically means things are going to get better.
Right. Nothing could be further from the truth. I brought with me an article. Why Obama's presidency doesn't lead to black progress. See, we've been focusing on getting black people in positions of politics, and it has not changed the quality of our life. We got to focus on the money. It's about the money. See, if we make the money, then we'll buy a politician. But right now, those politicians, yeah, that's what's wrong now. They're bought. And they're bought with somebody else's money, so they're doing other people's business, not doing our business. So we got to buy them back.
Let me ask you a question, Jabu. I remember just about a year and a half ago, I think you remember, Brother Jackson, they were trying to get a raise for the council. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And it was said by this mayor that if it got to his desk, you remember that? Mm-hmm. That he would sign it. Mm-hmm. And it didn't get to his desk.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, I understand that, but it didn't get to his desk. And I don't think it had really any intentions of getting there in the first place. And I'm hoping that this situation, as intent as you are about it, I hope it can get to the desk. I hope that those personalities that you mentioned will be very active in making this happen. Because you and I both know we haven't had this type of activity as it relates to something like this in a while. And it would be something worthwhile. You're pushing it, but I don't hear the president pushing it.
Well, he has not, you know, and I'm not a prophet.
I understand.
But let me be prophetic.
Okay.
It will get to the mayor's desk because I have faith in you, he, and me. See, I believe that we're going to fight and we're going to continue to heighten the contradiction. We can't be allowing everybody to come in and hook their caboose up to our engine. We've got to come together as a people and say, enough. The reason why you got the murder rate in the country, in the city right now, is because of money. People out there trying to steal from the drug dealer. The drug dealer trying to make some money. We can change all that by letting them make money legitimately. And if the mayor pushes the council, and if VOP says, okay, push me, you don't have to push me, I'll readily do it. If Monroe and Maggie and them other people, Leroy, that's on the council, will champion the cause, and I don't have any problem with you being with the party. But I'm looking for you to be with the people. And if you are with the people and start making money come through the neighborhood instead of going around the neighborhood, over the neighborhood, I even believe some is going up under the neighborhood.
Let me ask you, Reverend Ajabu.
We can make and change this city to where it's safe.
It becomes balanced.
Well, let me ask
Everybody becomes an equal participating citizen, and I don't care what price you done paid, we have a decent quality of life. Yes, sir.
Are we at a point, because it had been said in the past that the mayor, the governor, the president of the United States has the bully pulpit, it's cliche. And over the years, in my observation, and as a result of pastoral oversight, it seems like now mayors, they push back. And it used to be, as you've indicated, the people would come out and say, we want this done. And mayors would say, okay, let's get this done. But it appears, and Dr. Moore, you know, maybe this is what I've observed, that now we're living in a time where a mayor, or particularly a president, I haven't seen it much with the governor, or in the governor's seat, but particularly with mayors in the last administration, Mayor Ballard, where he got a lot of push, and they said, well, we want you to do this, and some of it he didn't do. With our current mayor, where there are people who say, we want you to do this, and then they don't do it. Are we at a time where you have people, and you have the black church and others who are pushing for something, and now mayors are saying, hey, we're not going to do it?
Yeah, but see, you can say what you want, but if the people uses the power that the people have, the power of the people, for the people, by the people, then they'll straighten up and fly right. And I like that term, pastor oversight. See, if we are overseeing and understanding our place in the world order of things, we're the one to make sure that the things are morally correct. And it's not morally correct for people to be living in poverty. What kind of stuff is that? You know, I think it was the charge was go ye forth and multiply. Well, having something to eat or not having something to eat, you ain't multiplying.
Well,
We got to get on our job. See, the preacher's job is to hold these politicians accountable, and they're not being held accountable. And we can do it. We can mobilize people. If we start mobilizing people, standing out there at the city county council meeting, standing out there in front of the mayor's office, they can count. And we need to make sure that our people count and get the law changed, and then not only make and we don't need to study it no more. We already know what the problem is.
Do you think the mindset of the people to come out like it used to be in the 60s and the 70s, do you still think we have that kind of a mindset in the community?
No, because nobody's pressuring it. The leadership is not pressuring it. See, we have deferred, instead of having the grassroots leadership, you know, such as Martin King. He wasn't a politician. Malcolm X, he wasn't a politician. Kwame Ture wasn't a politician. Now we're looking for politicians to be the leaders. You know, the leadership need to go back to pastor oversight. Man, that's excellent language. We need to step up. They need to hear our voice. And it is time. And there is something that's going on in Indianapolis, man. There is a movement because the unity is going across politicians, pastors, common people. See, we're talking about the money, and just look at it. The budget of the city is about $1.2 billion.
A little more than that.
Okay, but
Give or take.
I'm with you.
about
Yeah.
1.2 billion. The law says at least 15% of that is supposed to go through the hands of businesses owned by people of African descent. That is about $180 million. There's about 300,000 people of African descent in Marion County. If you divide that equally, that's about $600 for every man, woman, and child that lives in the city. That's a good hit. When you start bringing that kind of money through the neighborhood on a yearly basis, on an annual basis, crime gonna go down. People, you know, issues that are now small issues, they're not gonna grow into big issues. And we can start everybody getting along, but it starts with us, you, he, and me, coming together to push them politicians to do what's right. And I say that we need to push the mayor. If we push the mayor,
We can get it done.
everybody else gonna get there.
Well, thank you for coming. We're out of time.
We're out of time. What the?
Thank you for coming and being with us.
Thank
you so
Appreciate
much,
you.
sir.
My friend, God bless you, man.
God bless us.
Glad to have you back,
Yes, sir.
and we'll see you all at the rundown.
Real people, real voices,
welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Co-host Dr. Wayne Moore.
And your executive producer, Faith McKinney.
Well, it's still warm up here.
I thought we had a great time with Brother Ajabu. Brother Ajabu's been out in our community for years.
Yeah.
Just talking about the progress of Afro-American community, whether it be schools, economics, politics. He's always been out there, has been a voice. And I thought it would be good for him to come by and stop by Channel 40 and rile up our audience of 1.5 million.
That's probably riled up by now. But at the crux of his talk is the issue of, and we've had this before, vendor contracts and the minority-owned, women-owned, veteran-owned, and I think it's the disadvantaged.
Yeah, disabled.
Disabled. We're
yeah.
talking about upwards of $100 million or more of public money
Yearly.
that's not getting to
Yep.
the people that it's supposed to get to.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you talk about these, to some people, these are touchy subjects because they think you're just concerned about the black community. That's not true. We're concerned about all communities getting a piece of what the city has to offer them as it relates to vendor contracts and economic development. And it just so happens we're just at the low end of this totem pole.
And particularly, Dr. Moore, we're not just talking outside of our neck. I mean,
No.
when in the Thrive Indiana plan, you have black families last, number 4,
Right.
with median household income. So,
And with health as well.
yeah,
You
and
know.
number 1 in Marion County or in Indianapolis with regard to unemployment. So all these things have
Yeah.
to change. Are you going to say something?
No, you guys got it covered.
And then the disparity study that
Yeah.
we talked about. I mean, Dr. Green, I'm telling you, he and Brother Alexander, they had dissected that thing, and it looks and it's ready for not just to continue to talk about it, but to put some legs on it and make some changes.
Yeah. So we want to continue to make changes. And thank you all for being with us on today. We want to thank our sponsors, Lee Costle and Crawley, Fervent Care Christian Academy, Marion County Health Department, Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes. And don't forget, you can go to our YouTube channel, WHMB TV 40,
And like us on Facebook as well.
and we'll see you next time.